All righty, folks. So welcome to episode 10. Tim, we made it into double digits.
They
There
said
you
we
go.
wouldn't last, Tony. They said we wouldn't last.
That's it. We're just like a little mosquito. Just keeps buzzing around. Can't get rid of us. That's cool though. Episode 10. It's been 10 weeks. And again, thank you everybody. It's been some good feedback, some good views, and it seems like everybody's enjoying the show, enjoying the trivia segments of the show, no matter who wins.
Yeah.
So
win or lose, right?
good.
But I think we've all learned, hey, give her your best shot, right? We've learned that from
Oh, definitely. It's all fun, man. I don't
from our
care.
heroes in the film industry, right?
Yep.
As
Yeah.
long
I
as you
mean,
try.
we got another nice like from Sly on a couple of the comments from round 14 on the post. So it's nice that he's still keeping an eye on us and we're still in his wheelhouse there. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's
How
very
you been?
cool.
How's your summer going?
Doing so far so good. It's still boiling hot down here in Florida. I don't know about up there with you, but
Yeah, we had I guess we had our Canadian version of a heat wave. It was in the 40s. That's even Fahrenheit. So it was pretty, that's a heat wave for us. So I don't know what that is, like about 95 or something, but
probably something like
96.
that.
But
Yeah, I'm not too quick with those conversions, but
yeah,
but
we're
it's
on
still hot.
vacation. So my wife and I are on vacation this week, and I wanted to show you something before we get into it. So a little while ago, we talked about the hoser aspect. I'm a Canadian, and I am a hoser. So my wife we were in this little shop, and my wife found this sign. So I'm going to put it up here. Flannel wearing Canadian who does nothing but drink beer and watch hockey. So
that is awesome.
I'm going to add that to my backdrop. That is a definition. That is the definition of a hoser.
That is awesome.
So
see, I didn't even know it had an official definition. That's good.
There you go. Right. So I think we might have made that ourselves, but we slipped it into the dictionary. But hey, that's okay.
And then it went on to become very well known with the brothers from Second City Television, right back in
Bob and Doug McKenzie.
Doug McKenzie, yep.
Strange Brew. If
that's when at least that's when the Americans got to know of it anyway.
That's right. If anybody hasn't seen that, that is a absolute cult classic. Go back and watch Strange Brew. You won't.
I'm sure you probably think it's even better than we do, and we thought it was funny. So
yeah,
good stuff. But this week we're going to mix it up a little bit. We're talking Rambo first. Rambo 3. We're going to talk a little Rocky 3, and then we'll lead right into our main segment here, which I'm sure you guys could probably get a guess on based on my shirt and Tim's shirt and Tim's completely changed background.
I've moved into the wrestling area of my studio.
And, so we'll be discussing that. But Rambo 3, just a little rundown of it. We figured we'd talk about both threes, Rambo 3, Rocky 3.
Yeah, it's something different.
That was about as action-packed as you get. I mean, after this, I thought the second one was action-packed. This one,
right,
was even more.
Sure was.
Pretty cool, and obviously the main premise of it was Troutman got taken behind enemy lines, and Rambo had to do something about it.
Yeah, that's right. Come out in 1988, like you said, and an absolute blockbuster, right? Yeah. This was one of these movies, folks, I wasn't allowed to go see because I wasn't old enough, but as part of the fun things to do in the movies, I snuck into it. I wasn't missing Rambo on the big screen. I'm very glad that I got to see it on the big screen for sure.
Yeah, and I remember when it came out. I'm a few years older than you, so I did go see it in the movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
And it was something else, I mean, obviously the stick fighting scene that started right off when he's walking in. You look at his back; he's just shredded.
Yeah,
he's just ripped to shreds there, and he. But it was good. It was a good film. It was exciting. It had a lot of adventure to it. Had a good little storyline. Remember when nobody really wanted. Well, remember when he first asked Troutman to? I mean, Troutman first asked Rambo to go.
Yeah,
and he didn't want to go.
That's right, and we touched on that in a episode or so ago with the relationship between Troutman and Rambo. Mm-hmm. That's one of my favorite scenes in Rambo 3 is the discussion that happens after the American diplomat, if you will. They come in unofficial. Of course, everything's unofficial with Rambo, right?
The books.
And Rambo says, "Look, I put in my time. My war is over." Right? He walks away. So Troutman follows him, and they have that discussion about coming full circle. So that was a great scene. I just love that part.
Yeah, the same here. The same here. And you knew when Troutman did decide to go, and you obviously knew something was going to happen. I mean, he was the movie
Yeah.
wasn't going to go without Rambo, so
No, that's right.
you kind of knew was where that was going.
Mhm.
And then of course John Rambo hears about it, and bad things happen to bad people. So
Yeah, that's right. Well, the other scene that I think of is this here where he makes it to the camp, right?
mhm,
And they're kind of strategizing, and they say you have to wait, like we wait. And he,
mhm.
of course, he says, "Then I'll go alone." And they'll just say, "Well, you'll die." And he, of course, Rambo fashion, then I'll die.
Right.
But
Oh yeah, he's definitely willing to die. I mean, for Troutman,
yeah, that's right.
that's a no brainer. I mean, he did. It wasn't
Mhm,
even a question in his mind.
mhm. That's right. And then we get to see, Troutman and Rambo in action in this movie, right? So a little
Yeah, I
bit
mean, I thought
different
that
than
was
the rest
pretty
of them.
cool. I thought that was pretty cool with Troutman getting the gun out
Yeah.
and running around like a soldier again, and
Mhm.
not just being the commanding officer. So that was pretty
That's right.
cool.
Yeah. That scene there for people listening on the network, we have up is just after, you know, Rambo comes and frees Troutman, and of course he's got the wound on the side, and Troutman looks at him and he says, "I, how's the wound?" And Rambo says, "You taught me to ignore pain, right?" He says, "Is it working?" He goes, "Not really.
Not really.
Don't take it personal." But there's always that little bit of comedic
Yeah, a little
lines
humor
in
in
there
there
from
thrown
Sly,
in.
right?
Yeah,
So
good
again,
stuff.
another movie that Sly wrote, and
Yeah.
just phenomenal, right? Like we've talked about this before, actor, director, writer,
Mhm.
artist. But I mean, it's hard enough to act in a movie and pull it off, but to write it, Jesus, the guy's pretty
And
good,
then
Tony.
to sit there, you're the actor, you're ready for your
Hmm.
scene, you're looking around, making sure everybody else is ready for
Yeah,
their scenes. Okay, action, and then you got to go. I mean, it's a lot of moving parts right there. So kudos
yeah,
to him.
that's
Not that
right.
he obviously couldn't pull it off because he did,
Hmm.
but it was cool. I mean, I spent and then the to wrap it up, the ending of it, I thought that was the coolest part of it was with the
Yeah,
when Rambo got in the tank
yeah, that's right.
and went up against the Afghan or the Russians and not
Yeah,
Afghan Russian colonel
in the
there. That was
helicopter, right?
yeah, the big hell, and that was one of the first times I think publicly people saw that type of it was either just a helicopter or a plane.
Hmm.
So that was kind of cool seeing that new, I guess, military um, airplane helicopter combo thing. That was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah. That was
Good stuff.
like I said, there was lots of action, and I'm sure that everybody has seen it. For anybody that hasn't seen it, treat yourself and go back and watch the Rambo films. Um, the younger generations coming up now. Look at our friend Tony D with his kids.
Yep. Yeah.
Bringing up the kids with the Rockies, and
Hey, that's how it works. I mean, my
now
girls watch
now
them
we
and they're
yeah,
teens.
exactly, right. So,
You know,
but
that's how it works.
unbelievable amount of action in Rambo 3, right? So just a great flick. Not maybe the most as compared to First Blood, excuse me. Obviously you're not going to get the drama. This is
No, I mean,
just turn your
again,
brain off and enjoy your
we
movie.
compared Rocky 3 to Rocky that one
Yeah.
time and Rocky 4, and it's not a comparable film.
No, that's right.
Rocky has more substance to the film,
Hmm.
more heart and soul, I guess you could say, without bad mouthing the other sequels. I mean, but
Sure.
and then same thing with First Blood. It was
Hmm.
definitely a more soulful movie, a more meaningful
Hmm.
message movie as opposed to blow everybody up.
Yeah.
And but again,
This is the opposite.
it entertained you. It entertained
Yeah.
me. That's
Yeah.
all that
And
matters.
you know what? And like I said, you're going to the movies to have a good time, to have fun. I mean, sure, some movies are way better than the others, but this, this was a great movie. I definitely approve of it.
Oh, absolutely. And what's so funny about it is that when Rocky 3 came out in 82, and that was the first time you saw Sly shredded. He was just
Hmm.
defined, he
Hmm.
was ripped. It was after Rocky 2,
Yep.
and it was the first time you saw him like that. And then of
Hmm.
course 85 was Rocky 4, you saw him even more defined.
Hmm.
I didn't think he could get more defined. I'm like, come on, man. You got muscle tone and muscle tone. How could you
Yeah.
get more? And then
Yeah.
Rambo 3, it's just oh my goodness. I mean, he looked like
Yeah.
somebody sketched him out.
And I believe I've read that Sly said he was in the best shape of his life for Rambo 3,
I wouldn't doubt
and
it. I mean, he looked the part too.
yeah, he definitely looked the part. And if If he thinks he was, then I agree with him because
Yeah, exactly. I'm not
you
going to
know,
argue with him. I mean, he was
no,
in great
absolutely not.
shape for Rocky 3. I mean, he looked
Yeah,
phenomenal in Rocky 3.
yeah,
When especially seeing him for the first time when you already saw Rocky 2 and you saw
yeah,
him, like that, you're like, "Oh my god, look at this. He's a completely
yeah,
different guy."
yeah.
And
That's right.
yep, he won the belt and he just shredded up. I mean, it was great.
Yeah.
And that was, I mean, I got into fitness and weightlifting and heavy bags and
Hmm.
whatnot for Rocky and Rocky
Yeah.
2. But when Rocky 3 came around, I was 16.
Hmm.
And that's when I just took it to a whole other level.
That's right.
When I saw him like that, I was like, oh man, I got to do something about the way I look. That's just
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
So
And
it's,
I mean, I loved watching, and I'm sure you did as well, and everybody, the montage at the start of Rocky 3, right? When
yeah,
he's fighting all the
yeah,
challengers, and then you see Clubber Lang come in, and he's upset, and he's thinking, so you see him fighting and back and forth, and quite a different
yeah.
opening
And
than
you,
the
and you
first two
see Mickey
Rockies.
in the audience in quite a few
Hmm.
of those fights
Yeah.
when they're flashing to Clubber. And
Right.
Mickey was like, I don't want no part of this guy. This guy,
Right.
he'll just, he knew where Rocky was at that
Yep.
point.
That's
He
right.
knew it. He knew he wasn't the hungry eye
No.
of the tiger fighter that he was when he won the
No.
title.
That's right. And the other thing in Rocky 3 is, we've talked about this before, this is the introduction of the Rocky statue to the
Yeah,
Rocky franchise, right?
yeah,
And how big is this statue to not only the city of Philadelphia, but to, the States and Rocky fans around the world, right?
absolutely. It's definitely, not only is it because it was in the film, and so
Hmm.
you can go touch a piece of film history or
Yeah.
Rocky history, but it's what it represents and how it meant when it was in the film at the top of the
Hmm.
steps, the Rocky
Hmm.
steps to the museum.
Hmm.
It stayed there for a little while too, from what
Right.
I understand, and then they moved it.
Hmm.
They moved it to the front of the Philadelphia Spectrum for a little bit too.
Yeah.
And then they almost were going to just take it down completely. They were fighting back and forth that it was a piece of movie memorabilia, not art. It shouldn't be by the art museum.
Yeah. I
I
had the
guess
truck
that's up
loaded
for
up,
debate.
Tony. I
What's
tell you,
that?
I had the truck loaded up. I was heading to Philly. I said, "You don't want it. It'll look great in my backyard by
I'll
the
be more than
pool."
happy to tell you that sucker's
Yeah,
huge too, man. It's a big
but
statue.
could you imagine? Could you imagine my wife if I brought home that? Right? I said I got a nice statue for the yard.
Well,
Right?
Sly has one in his house. How
Well,
crazy is
that's
that?
right.
I mean, he's got
That's
one
right.
of the,
I
I
don't
think
think it's
there's
crazy.
3 or something, and he has
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
The other one's at the steps where
Yeah.
everybody can now enjoy. And now it's got to the point where it's been dedicated to Philly. Sly went
Hmm.
there, and later on
Hmm.
after Balboa, and he has on the front of the plaque there. Now it has
Hmm.
the "Keep Moving Forward" speech on
Right.
there, and it's such a huge tourist attraction,
Well,
Rocky
how can they?
attraction.
That's it. How can they not? How can they not want it? And there's no way they're ever getting rid of it, right?
Not at
Amount
this
of
point.
the
No.
amount of people that it attracts,
Yeah.
and I feel bad saying this. More people are there to see the statue than the museum, right?
Well, inside the museum, I'm
Hmm.
sure. I mean, I don't know the attendance. I don't want to
Yeah.
insult the museum, but I mean,
No,
more people probably run those steps and never go through those
that's right.
doors,
Yeah.
in my opinion. And I'm just guessing, of
Hmm.
course.
Hmm.
Maybe the museum could say, Tony, you're
Yeah.
really wrong. And,
I think
you
I
know,
like the little line
I
in
hope so.
Rocky 5 with his kid, and he said, "I've been running up these steps for 30 years, and I never knew there was valuable pictures
Yeah.
inside."
Yeah. I
He
mean, a
just
lot
thought
of
it was a
people don't.
building.
And also, too, from what I understand, going back to Tony D, who I met in Philly
Hmm.
when we went up there to see Carl Weathers. From what I understand, that's the back of the museum is the
Yes.
steps. That's
Yeah.
not the front of the museum.
Oh, is that right? Eh?
That's what he
I
told
didn't
me.
know.
That's the back of the museum.
Yeah.
So that's pretty funny too. And everybody goes right there. I
Hmm.
mean, you Google it, it
Hmm.
says Rocky Steps,
Right.
Benjamin
Yeah, I know.
Franklin Parkway. That's what it's
I
called.
know. Yeah.
Rocky statue, Benjamin
Yeah.
Franklin Parkway.
That's right.
So that's pretty cool. But yeah, that's not going anywhere there now. That
No.
that movie was so big at the time. I'm so glad they didn't get rid of it. Like you
Yeah.
said, Mr. T was introduced, and that was his first film role.
Hmm.
And then the other gentleman that was the first film role that we had in there was the ultimate male, Thunderlips,
The
who
ultimate
can
male.
who can he wasn't known then. So
No.
you really didn't know anything about him. I mean, you just
Yeah.
saw this massive guy coming out,
Yeah, that's right.
and why they carry him? He's walking.
Oh, Polly. Right? Like
He's got
that's another great line. Like, because he's like 2 feet taller than everybody else coming through
Oh
the crowd,
yeah.
right? So they just assume that he's being carried. Well,
Yeah,
Paulie
the
does, right?
announcer says he's standing nearly 7 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he's just a massive sight. I mean, there's a big man.
Well, the picture
Sly,
we
I
have up now
believe
for
is
people listening, of course, is
yeah.
Thunderlips and Rocky. This is where Rocky's negotiating what they may do in their so-called charity match.
Yeah, he's like,
Right.
hey,
So,
first I hit you, then you hit me. We'll go around a little bit, you know.
and then
And
you hear Mickey in the background, right? Stay away from him. Don't mess with him. What are you doing? Right.
Mickey knows he's gonna get killed. And then the
And then
first time
I mean,
Hulk comes down on him,
yeah.
Rocky knew it
Even
was
before he gets in the ring, Mickey, you get the what the hell goes inside your head? Anything normal? Right? You ever fight a wrestler?
Nobody would do this much for charity.
Yeah.
Bob Hope would.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Those of you youngins that don't know, look him up. Google Bob Hope. He did a lot for charity.
That's right. But just you get that. It's with Rocky 3, there's so much going on. There's Clubber Lang, there's Thunderlips, right? Again, another shot here. Didn't start out well for Rocky in that charity
what
match.
we're showing now is where Thunderlips picks up Rocky over his head and throws him out of the ring.
Would it go but 5 rows, I think? So
he went deep into that play. And
yeah.
I gotta give Sly credit because not only did Sly literally lift up Hulk Hogan and roll him over the ropes.
Yeah.
The man weighed 300 pounds.
Yeah.
And you may be able to bench press 300 pounds, but
Yeah.
to pick up a person that's 300 pounds,
Yeah, that's right,
and roll him over the ropes like that, I mean, he got him out of the ring.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing an interview with Hulk Hogan one time where he said, he goes, "That was there was no joke out there." He goes, "Sly took everything I gave him." He goes, "He's one tough son of a bitch." And it's goes to show how he didn't want to make believe it. He wanted it to seem real.
That's right.
And he was willing to take the beating to get it. And Hulk didn't hold back. Hulk said, "Okay."
Yeah.
So he went and got him.
The days before the CGI and the guys doing their own stunts, right? And Sly was famous for doing a lot of his own stunts. Right?
Oh yeah,
early on. So, I mean, later on, still he'd do a lot of his stunts, right? So,
yep. Oh yeah, he did. But
until the doctors finally said enough.
Oh, I'm sure the insurance companies for the film production, film producers and the studios were like, "Look, man, got to get this a rest."
Yeah.
But he that came out in '82, and that officially put Hulk Hogan on the map. And
that's right.
You started paying a little more of attention to him. I mean, I didn't know who he was except when Rocky III came out. And then in 1984, which was 2 years later, it was Hulkamania. Oh,
that's
my
right.
goodness.
So there's
took everything by storm.
A pretty interesting background story involving Rocky III. So Hulk Hogan was in the WWF at the time, WWE now. So he was in the WWE, and it wasn't like it is now today. It wasn't there was different territories. Okay. So he was in WWE for a bit, and then he was also wrestling in Japan. He gets a telegram from Sylvester Stallone. "I want you to be in Rocky III." He thinks Sylvester Stallone just messaged me about a movie. He thinks it's a joke, right?
Yeah, because by Japan, then he goes, was huge. By 82,
and he's thinking, "There's no way he knows who I am, and there's no way this is a joke. Someone's playing a prank on me."
Right.
Off he goes to Japan. They get back. They're in a panic, okay, because they're ready to start filming this thing, and they need him. So again, they reach out, and he, his agent says, "You got to call Sly." He goes, "What do you mean? He's been trying to call you." No cell phones back then, no internet. So it's all the phone messages, and there's, message after message. So he finally gets a hold of him. He can't believe it. He's going to do the movie. Well, the WWE, Vince McMahon Sr. at the time says, "Listen, you are not going to film a movie. You are a wrestler. We've got you booked." And Hogan said, back in the day, wrestlers were wrestlers. They weren't TV stars. They weren't movie stars. We didn't have The Rock. We're not going to lend you out and do movies like they do now. So he said, "Look, I'm going to do this movie." They said, "You do this movie, you're fired." He says, "Fine, fire me. I'm not going to miss a movie to be a chance to be in a Rocky movie, especially with Stallone." He goes and does the movie, and the movie is a major, major success, right?
Huge.
So the McMahons, of course, business people they are, they look at this and they say, wait a second. ding, 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 the light bulb goes off, and they think, geez, we got to run with this. Like, this is
Yeah.
our golden ticket, right? They're in
Yeah.
the business of entertainment. They call him back in. They rebrand him, make him Hulk Hogan, right? They said, we're gonna, you're gonna win the belt. You're gonna run with it. You're gonna be the face of the company. Hulkamania was born, like you said, and off and running, largely part to Rocky III.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, again, that's what put him on the map to me. So I'm
Yeah.
sure there was a ton of Rocky fans out there that didn't know nothing about wrestling.
Right.
And then it got you, I paid attention to it a little bit. I mean, like I said, 84, I graduated high school. So I was older. I was 18. But I remember WrestleMania and I mean, Hulkamania, WrestleMania.
Yep.
Roddy Piper and all the bigger named wrestlers that were for then anyway.
So I put up the poster, and it's funny that you mentioned WrestleMania because Hulk Hogan's partner for WrestleMania was Mr. T from Rocky III. So Mr. T and Hulk Hogan faced Rowdy Piper and Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff in a tag team match. This was unprecedented. They never thought that they'd pull this off. WrestleMania was absolutely huge. It was the first one, right? So 1985 that they did this. We got some pictures here, people listening, of Hulk Hogan and Mr. T in action, right? So, and Mr. T, I mean, he's still ripped, right, from the Rocky movies, and he's an athlete. So you can see that he's handling himself pretty good there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he went. How long did he wrestle?
He wrestled in WrestleMania 1. He WrestleMania 2. He fought Roddy Piper in a boxing match. And
I remember that.
Yeah, he was winning, and Roddy Piper got disqualified and actually started to wrestle, which wasn't allowed in the match. Right. So of course, Roddy Piper is the heel. Roddy Piper, folks, for any of you who don't know him, was an unbelievable heel. Later turned babyface, the term in wrestling. But he said, just when you think you have all the answers, I changed the questions. So, yeah,
he played the bad guy pretty good.
Yeah, so they had a match in WrestleMania 2. I don't think he was in WrestleMania 3. So at that time he'd gone off and he started doing the 18s and
then by then Hulk was just massive. I mean, you're talking 85, 86. I mean, Hulkamania started in 84. Yeah. I remember 86 to 89, maybe. I don't really recall because, like I said, I wasn't extremely into it.
Right.
Where it was just massive.
Yeah.
I mean, T-shirts, toys. That's right. It was everywhere. It was everywhere.
Yeah, he was absolutely huge. So I started actually watching wrestling before I watched Rocky because he came out in, like you said, Hulkamania was born in 84, right? So
that picture there, that's the statue out front of Hulk's gift shop in Clearwater Beach.
He's still huge, right? So, but Hulkamania, like I said, I was 10 years old when Hulkamania came out, and these characters were larger than life and bigger and badder and they were all characters, right? Like there was bad guys and good guys and they not like now or today where they all travel together and it was a show, right? Like the bad guys didn't associate with the good guys. And, but like I said, I was 10 years old when Hulkamania came out, and anybody that comes out and rips their shirt off and has that much energy and body slamming people, it's quite a fun show. So
plus he's huge. I mean, he's just a massive guy.
Well, that's right. And then so he actually had a reign for over 3 years, close to 4 years, where he was champion, and that just doesn't happen even in wrestling, even in the scripted entertainment world.
Right.
Nobody is the champion for almost 4 years, and he wrestled all over the world. Now the storyline that went into WrestleMania 3 was actually quite large, and I'm not kidding when I say large. Andre the Giant, who at the time,
I remember that too,
right, had not been defeated for 15 years. Okay.
Yeah.
So he challenged, he turned heel, and that was a shock, right? He came out on Piper's Pit, and he ripped the shirt and he ripped the crucifix, and he challenged Hulk Hogan to the title. and this was Hogan's best friend. Okay, so the storyline, and then you get Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant. Okay.
Yeah, look at the picture now. You want to talk about a big guy.
Mm-hmm.
Hulk is sick.
Hulk,
Well, Hulk is billed as what,
yeah,
6'7", 310,
6'8", and
6'8".
Andre, they had billed him at 7 feet. He wasn't quite 7 feet, although in
Mhm.
his wrestling world they put him at 7 feet, but he was at 500 pounds there, people.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, and he had a size, I think he had a size 26 shoe.
Yeah,
Okay,
well, look at Hulk's hand next to
yeah,
Andre's hand in that
yeah.
picture.
So I wear, just to put in perspective, I'm short, Tony, you're a little taller. I wear a size 9.
Yeah, I wear
Okay,
11. I mean,
okay.
20. I mean, it's 2 of my shoes, 3 of
Yeah, so you
whatever it
could put
is. I
both
don't
your
know.
feet in Andre's, and
That's
so
insane.
they broke, which held for a long time. They broke an attendance record for any event, 93,000 people at
Wow.
the Pontiac Silverdome in Michigan. Okay, so
Wow.
if you don't think people like wrestling, go back and watch WrestleMania
Oh, you
3.
watch yeah, I see them every now and then. They'll flash by some old,
Okay.
uh, whatever years they're doing the
Yep.
WrestleMania, and the place is
Yeah,
insanely
they've
packed.
started doing in the last few years. They've started going in football stadiums. They had just one in Tampa Bay a few years ago. Okay,
Yeah,
and
I
they
remember
they
that.
play in the football stadium. So
Yeah, I
you're
remember.
putting 70, between 50 and 70,000. They had one in
That's
Dallas
crazy.
last year. There was over 100,000 people. Okay,
Wow.
100,000 people, and you're watching those guys with a telescope, maybe.
You'd
You
have
know,
to. I mean, because when you're up there, I mean, you got to remember, you're watching a football game from the upper
hmm
level.
hmm
You could see the players, you could
the
see
whole
the
field.
game, you could see what's going on.
hmm
But to watch just the one ring
Yeah,
that's, probably
yeah.
in, I don't, where they would put it, the 50-yard line, let's say.
Yeah,
It,
somebody actually complained. They had bought tickets for WrestleMania, and it said on their ticket when they printed their ticket, your view may be obstructed. So they got to the WrestleMania. This was when it was in I think it was WrestleMania 30, 33, which was in San Francisco a few years ago.
mm,
They got to their sign, and they were behind the WrestleMania sign, so they couldn't see anything. And they
nothing. Oh
complained,
my
and
goodness.
they said, listen, your ticket said you might be obstructed because they
Sure.
were behind like the jumbotron, but hey, they
Right.
were there. Uh, but those poor guys probably didn't enjoy it as much as I did on my
Uh,
couch.
yeah, I mean, obstructed view. I
Yeah,
get it. You want to put as many people as you can in the stadium.
yeah,
I
yeah.
understand that. But an obstructed view to me should mean I have a view and it's
hmm
obstructed. Means I have to
hmm
watch it like this,
Yeah,
or maybe look over a balcony or something.
yeah. That's right.
Not like this. It's
Well,
a little much.
it's funny you mentioned that. Like I said, I'm Canadian, and I've gone to see the up to the old Maple Leaf Gardens, which is no longer in they don't use that anymore. But
Uh,
I had a ticket one time at Maple Leaf Gardens to see Winnipeg Jets and Toronto Maple Leafs, and I found my I was standing room only because we could, it was always sold out. So my number was on a I-beam, was on a steel I-beam. So I had to
uh,
either do this
yeah, or
or
that. Yeah,
or
one or the other. But you
so
had a
it was
view,
funny. Yeah, it was fun. It was they don't make them like that anymore, thank goodness,
right?
but they called that a barn, the old barn, and that's why. Yeah,
I mean, you're talking.
wrestling was pretty huge.
Wrestling has been huge and keeps growing, and it is completely,
hmm
in my partially educated opinion, and Tim's fully educated opinion on wrestling, in due, no small thanks to Hulk
hmm
Hogan.
Yeah. So he wasn't I guess he was one of the first ones to wrestle.
Mhm.
Excuse me. And then, followed, you get Predator and you have Jesse the Body Ventura, and he started with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he came back with a Running Man, and then
Mhm.
as they progressed, so Hogan did probably 20, close to 23 movies. Nothing as big as Rocky 3, obviously.
Right.
The next one he would do would be No Holds Barred, 1989. It
I
was
remember
an
that one. Yeah.
all wrestling movie, right? So
Yeah.
and then wrestling, like our show, they segue into something. They brought the character Zeus into the WWF to have a feud with Hulk Hogan, steel cage match, right?
Mhm.
It was fresh. Everybody was excited about the movie, so they brought him into through the wrestling world, right? So another unstoppable or unbeatable person that Hulkamania
Right.
took down. So Yeah, he was larger than life, Hulk Hogan. So,
Well, it still is. I mean, you're
mhm,
talking 84 was 38 years ago when
mhm,
Hulkamania officially started. That's what it
yep,
says on the shirts that you buy down there in the beach.
mhm,
And Hulk is, as everybody is known, we've touched base on his place on Clearwater Beach, Florida, down here. He has a restaurant on the beach, Hogan's Hangout, not Hulk Hogan,
yeah,
sorry, Hogan's Hangout,
Hogan's hangout right there. I
and right
love
next,
that. I love that
yeah,
logo. It's awesome.
not directly next door. It's probably about 2 doors down. Is his
Mhm,
I guess you could say gift shop, so to speak. It's a
right.
memorabilia slash gift shop. Sells T-shirts, sells autographed items,
Mhm, mhm,
sells. You can see in the back they have weight belts.
yeah,
They have replica wrestling belts, real wrestling belts that he wore and signed. But the point I'm even bringing all this up is, see, you
yeah,
walk in, there's a massive picture of him holding Rocky up, and that's actually from Sly. It's signed from Sly.
right.
And he signed. That's the statue in front of the memorabilia shop
Yeah.
that everybody goes take a picture with.
Mhm,
And it's reason I'm even bringing all that up is because 38 years later, his restaurant is packed,
yeah.
and his memorabilia store is packed. And that's
Mhm,
where that was the first time I went to karaoke to try to meet him.
mhm,
The place is packed.
yeah.
They're all
And
in there. They're
yeah,
what's that?
he's still bringing out the lovely ladies,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
There's
Mrs.
young
Stallion,
lady looks familiar to me,
right?
Mrs. Stallion in her Hulkamania shirt.
With Jimmy Hart, right?
With Jimmy Hart, super nice man, very very
Yeah.
nice man. But
Mhm,
that was one. I think that was the third or the fourth karaoke period that he had,
mhm. Yep.
and it was packed. Now it's gotten so big now where they issue out tickets. Now you don't have to pay for the tickets, from what
Mhm.
I understand,
Yeah, but you
but it
have to
just
get them, right?
guaranteed you to get in the building.
Mhm,
Because when I went and I hung around just alone because my wife didn't want to go again. I got up there to meet him.
mhm,
The place was insane. I mean, there was
mhm.
standing room only.
Yeah.
It was wall to wall people, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. The point I'm trying to make with it all is that all these
Mhm.
years later, he's still an icon.
How about
Yeah,
that, folks?
there
Look
he
at that
is.
right there.
There he is.
Right?
I went over to oh, can I get a picture? Sure, brother. Come here.
Yeah,
And
that's wicked right there. I love it.
it was pretty cool. I have to admit him. He's a
Yeah.
legend. He's
Yeah.
a legend. Even
Yep.
I'm not into wrestling as well as deep as you are.
Mhm.
It's still, let's put it this way: I'm not into hockey
Yeah.
at all, not
Yep.
even this much.
Mhm.
If Wayne Gretzky was in a bar, I would go
Mhm.
ask to take a picture with him.
Yeah.
He's a
Well,
legend.
and speaking of which, Hulk Hogan attends quite a few Tampa Bay Lightning games.
Yeah, he
He's a
does.
big
He
fan,
goes.
right?
I
So,
mean, because he lives down there. He doesn't live
yeah.
far from the restaurant.
Mhm.
He does go to local places a lot. He's seen out a lot. His gym is down the street from the restaurant.
Mhm.
He's still, I mean, he just had a meet him and get autograph pictures and
Mhm.
whatnot
Mhm.
and get autographed items. There was a line out the door going down the
Oh
beach.
yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
The kids were there. And the
Mhm.
funny part about it is that there's people that are our age,
Mhm.
and then they have their sons or
Yeah.
daughters,
Yeah.
and then they have grandsons or daughters
Mhm.
that are, some of them are dressed up, some of them have the t-shirt.
Mhm.
So they know of it too. They know
Yeah.
the history. That's the pretty cool part, is that they may follow The Rock now,
Mhm.
or whoever is the most
Yeah.
followed. What's the newer Roman Reign? Is he's
Roman
a
Reigns is the
yeah.
champion right now. Yeah. And
So they follow him, but they
mhm.
know they learned from dad or
Yeah.
grandpa where it
Yeah.
stems from, and
Well,
when they
it's
see it, they want to go. There he
that's right.
is.
That's right.
So
And like I said, take wrestling with a grain of salt, people. It's
yeah.
entertainment, okay? We've had there's conversations, it's fake and it's not real. Let me tell you this:
Yeah.
it's not fake, it's fixed. Okay, these guys, yeah, we all know the outcome and they know the outcome, but who cares? Just go and have a good
I mean, the
time, right?
bottom line is maybe some of those, pounds are a little
Yeah,
pulled, maybe
yeah,
not as hard. But I'm sorry, when you're throwing somebody out of the ring into a table,
mm-hmm,
or somebody's leaping off the top rope and
yep,
coming down on you,
yeah,
that, that's going to hurt. I don't care who you are. I
yeah.
don't care where you're
Even
from.
if
It's
I
not
lay down
pretend.
a 3-inch mat or 4-inch mat on the floor and I pick you up and I slam you on it, you know what? When you wake up in the morning, you're going to be sore.
You're going
Okay,
to feel it.
and the other thing is, these guys do this, and girls, excuse me, the wrestlers are on the road. They wrestle up to 300 times. They're on the road 300 days a year, right? So it's not
It's
like
crazy.
they're
It's 10
go.
months a year, pretty much.
Yeah.
A little
So
under 2 months off.
yeah,
It's
and Hogan
sprinkled
did it.
in.
Like I said, he did. He was a you know 12-time champion, 6 in WWE, 6 in WCW.
Well,
He
there goes
had.
one of my trivia questions.
We can still ask it. You can still ask it if I can remember it.
You are gonna streak through the
Right.
trivia today, brother. I
So
know
I
it.
mean, there was lots of movies, right? So he did Hogan Knows Best. He did a reality show. So,
Yeah.
like you said, you mentioned The Rock, John Cena, Randy
Mhm.
Orton, right? All these
He
guys
paved
kind
the
of
way.
followed Stone Cold Steve Austin, who was in
Yep.
Expendables. Okay, all these guys. Um, Hogan was the trailblazer. Okay,
Yeah, he paved the
he did
way.
it.
Absolutely did.
There wouldn't be, if you ask a lot of them, the conversation is Ric Flair or Hulk Hogan or The Undertaker, right? Who's the greatest of all time? Who's the GOAT? Now, if you ask each one of them, Hogan says Flair is the best, and Flair says Hogan's the best, right? So, they even had Flair at Hogan's hangout, right? So singing
Yeah,
and
yeah, he
dancing.
was
So
there when the day that I did meet Hulk.
yeah,
I met Ric Flair, and
yeah,
unfortunately, I met him, and then he kind of got shuffled away from me, where I
that's
couldn't
right.
get a picture with him. But I did
Yeah,
take pictures of him, and super
yeah.
nice man. He was having a good old time. But
Be
yeah,
careful.
they have a
You want to be
very mutual
careful.
respect.
You want to be careful if you get partying with Ric Flair because he'll keep you all night long,
Over.
right?
He was putting some of the younger people under the table the way he was
Yeah.
drinking and partying. It was a good time.
Woo!
Yep, and everybody's yelling the woo, and
Yeah.
I mean, it was fun, and and also too, if anybody's never been there and plans on going down to Clearwater Beach, Florida, and you're a Rocky fan or a Hulk fan or whatever you are, or if kind of a fan, not only does it have all the perks of seeing the place the way it is. Now,
Mm-hmm.
keep in mind that the Hogan's Hangout, which is the restaurant, does not have Hulk wrestling things hung up around it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's not a Hard Rock Cafe
Mm-hmm.
memorabilia to Hulk Hogan
Yeah, that's right.
place. It's decorated, wrestling's on the TV. The only things are like the shirts
Mm-hmm.
and hats and stuff that he sells. The memorabilia store, which is a couple doors down, is where you get all the posters
Yeah,
and the
it
shirts and everything else.
looks like the wrestling world threw up, and it's all
But
over the
the
place.
reason
But
I'm
it's good.
even bringing up the restaurant now we ate there 4 times, I believe, maybe 5 times. I don't
Mm-hmm.
recall.
Mm-hmm.
Very good food. And
Mm-hmm.
I can't stress that enough because sometimes down the beach it's a little hard to find good food because some of them are just tourist traps.
Right.
Now, if I didn't live here, I would definitely think Hulk Hogan's was a tourist trap.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
You see, Hulk Hogan's place. Oh, I'm sure the food sucks there. It doesn't. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
this food. Now, keep in mind, they're only closed 3 hours a day.
Really?
Yes, they open at 3. They open at 6 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
and they close at 3 a.m.
It's awesome.
So they're closed 3 hours a day. They open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And the food is phenomenal. It's very
Yeah.
good food. Very good food. And then, of course, you have a chance to maybe meet Hulk. And
Yeah.
Hulk's always got somebody else there. The night I went to go sing, that country singer Toby Keith
Mm-hmm.
was there previous to me getting
Yep.
there. Dennis Rodman has been there. Ric
Yep.
Flair has been there.
Mm-hmm. I tell you
Uh,
what, Tony, if I come down to Florida, we're gonna close the place.
Oh,
We're
you
gonna
better
go
come
all
down.
night long.
Well,
We're
first of
gonna
all, yeah,
go.
you better come down right
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
But
that's right.
we're definitely going to go to Hulk's. Make it on a Monday too. We'll go sing
Yeah, yeah.
karaoke.
Yeah, you take a couple days off, and we'll open the place for breakfast, and we'll close it with Ric Flair. So
That'll be interesting karaoke right there.
maybe we'll do the show right from there, right? So
Oh my goodness. Well, I don't.
hey,
Yeah, let's do a live from there. That'd be
oh,
amazing.
that'd be unbelievable. So
That would be amazing.
no, I
We
think
were
it's
hoping
great.
to get Hulk on the show. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm still trying that. I've said that a long time ago.
yeah,
I want to try and get him on the show, but you have to have that that timing where you're
yeah,
talking
yeah.
to him and be able to fit it in. When I
Mm-hmm.
was talking to him to take the picture, it wasn't really it it wasn't really, I want to say appropriate because
Mm-hmm.
whatever, but
Yeah.
it didn't segue into me asking him to be on the
No,
show.
that's right. That's right.
But maybe one day, you never know.
Hey, you know what? Like I said, we tying this in with Rocky 3 segment, and Sly has taught us never give up, right? Always keep fighting, right? So
Always.
you might hear no and no tomorrow and no the next day, but you never give up and you never quit trying and give it your best, right? So
That's all we
who
can do.
cares? The worst they're gonna do is say no or throw you
Keep
out
trying.
whatever.
He
So
triumphantly bans me from the beach.
just say to him, you know who I am?
Yeah, right.
No?
Come on, we gave a whole episode to it dedicated to you.
Yeah,
So,
that's right.
but it's pretty cool. He really is. He's an icon. He's a legend. I'm sure it's, everybody has a bad day, but I've never heard about
Yeah.
him giving anybody a bad day. As far as the fans go,
Mm-hmm.
he's definitely a people's guy. I know that he did play the bad guy a little bit, so to speak, when he went Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
Yep.
If I remember.
So yeah, he went to WCW in the early 90s, and he turned heel, right? And that was pretty devastating for a lot of the Hulkamaniacs.
I'm not gonna lie, that's when I was like, I'm not watching.
Yeah,
Anymore.
and
He's
then
the bad guy.
they had to do that because a lot of guys were jumping ship from the WWE, and then he became Hollywood Hulk Hogan. So it was just a whole new. He started out a heel, right? So he started out a heel, and they made him Hulkamania, and he did that for many years. And but now, everywhere you go, like I said, he's just loved by everybody, and it's good to see that he's got the restaurant, and that he shows up at the restaurant, right? Like a lot of people
Every
have
Monday.
these restaurants and they
Every
have their
Monday,
name on it.
I don't want to say it's guaranteed,
Yeah.
but pretty much is every Monday. He pops in here because his son Nick Hogan does
Mhm.
DJing, and they have a DJ party on Thursday nights.
Yep.
He and he pops in from time to time on other nights
Sure.
because it literally is like a mile and a half from his house.
Mhm.
Clearwater
Yeah.
Beach is not big; it's just
Yeah.
a small peninsula. But Monday night, pretty much a lock where he'll be there around 8-ish. And usually
Yeah.
stays there till about 11-ish, maybe
Yep.
12. And
Oh, that's great. Like it must be just
they
bananas
set it up
there.
very differently now, so it's a little, a little broken off more than it was before. But
Yeah. It,
still pretty cool.
I tell you, it'd be awesome to be there. And someday we're gonna do that. We're gonna hop in the car, head down. We'll bring the maple syrup.
Yes, please
And
do.
head to Hogan's Hangout and just have a great time and just
That would be amazing.
let
Open
her loose.
invitation, my brother. Open invitation. Anytime. Just let me know.
All right. So since we're on the subject of Mr. Hogan, I thought we'd do a little trivia. Let me just fire up my
Do it.
my little
It's
video
trivia
here.
time. Everybody get your roller skates on.
How about that, eh?
It still makes me laugh.
Yeah, I love it. I feel like we used to have a place. Now I'm sure you guys did too. We had a place called Studio 801 here in Kingston, and you could do the roller skating, you could do 5-pin bowling, you could do mini
Yeah.
golf. They even had a dance floor.
Oh, they had everything.
They had an
Okay.
arcade. They had burgers and fries and
There you go.
milkshakes, and literally you could be there all day. If they had a theater beside it, you probably never leave. But yeah, they tore it down quite a few years ago, and it's a shame because I mean we could go there at like, I don't know if it opened at 11 o'clock in the morning or something, and you could be there till 11 o'clock at night. Like it was crazy, and it wasn't very expensive. I think you could,
Right.
you could. I don't know if it was free to do the roller skating, but maybe like
Ours, you used to have to
fee.
rent the shoes, the roller
Yeah,
shoe.
yeah, do that, sure.
Themselves. But ours didn't have as much added attractions as yours did. Ours
Right,
was
yeah,
a handful of video games and whatnot, but it was
yeah,
mostly the roller rink, and it
yeah.
was a good time. So it makes me think of that when I see that. It's pretty cool.
All right. Well, let's dive into some trivia.
Dive into trivia. Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
So I have 10 questions for you, but now
10.
9.
Okay.
Well, 9 because you.
I still
you
do I get points for that one? Even though
yeah, you're gonna get that one
all
because
right.
I want you to. You're gonna go 10-0. I know you are.
All right. Well, go. Let me see. If you got 10, I'll start. I got an easy one. So Thunderlips in Rocky 3, when he comes in the ring, how much does the announcer say he weighs? Or sorry, how much does he? I screwed that up. I even screwed up my own question. How much when Rocky says how much you think he eats? Sorry, that's my question. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That one I got. 202 pounds. That one I got.
202 pounds. And then, of course, the announcer turns,
I
202 thought that was fine. I thought I'd warm you up with a really easy, like,
that was really, thanks for that.
Okay.
Thanks for that gimme. Thanks for
All right, go ahead.
All right. So first question is, what is Hulk's finishing move called?
It is called the leg drop.
There you go. The atomic leg drop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're gonna whiz by all these. I'm gonna go 2 for every one.
You know what? You know what's funny? Like I said, when I was a kid, and you see him body slam somebody and do the big leg drop and 1, 2, 3, that's just like probably an opening move now. Like it's not
Right.
even considered
It's not a big deal anymore.
Oh, that's
Well, he did it to Rock. You remember? He came
they
in.
do that. They do that in the promos when
Right.
they're talking about wrestling. So, anyways, good.
All right. So second one I got for you here. Let's see. Has Hulk ever won a Royal Rumble?
He's actually won 2 of them. He's won, I believe it was 1990 and 1991.
2 for 2.
There you go.
All right,
so anybody that doesn't know what a Royal Rumble is, WrestleMania 2, they had what they called the Battle Royal, which was kind of fun. WrestleMania 2 was actually a really fun event. They had it from 3 different cities, if you can believe it or not. So you want to talk about directing. They figured, how are we going to do this from 3 cities? But they had 3 arenas on the go. And they actually had wrestlers versus NFL football players. William Refrigerator Perry was in it, and there was a lot of NFL players.
I didn't see it, but I remember seeing commercials.
A battle royal, they put 20 men in the ring, and these guys are like 300 plus, right? Like I think the smallest guy was 250 pounds. One of the football players, Andre the Giant, Big John Studd. They ring the bell, and all friggin' hell breaks loose, and you got to throw your opponent over the top. So the Royal Rumble. Came up with the late Pat Patterson came up with the idea, and it was 2 men start, and every 2 minutes another person runs in the ring. Oh, so you could have 2, you could have 4, you could have 6, you could be back down 2, and you have to throw everybody over. So Hogan won 2 times the Royal Rumble.
Wow.
And it's a big event every year, every January they have the Royal Rumble. So
well, you're 2-0. I'm barely 1-0, so that was a gimme. Well, you're 3-0. You got the how many titles? So
okay, so I got one for you. So the movie No Holds Barred, Hogan starred in. Who was his opponent in No Holds Barred? What was his character's name?
His character name?
Yeah, the character name that he faced that tried to.
In the movie?
In the movie, yeah, not Hogan's, but who was the bad guy?
Randy Macho Man?
No, that would be Zeus.
I have no idea.
Zeus. Who was Zeus?
Oh, Zeus. Oh, you even told me that earlier.
So he was. I even told you the answer. So that was played by Tom Tiny Lister Jr., who came into WWE again after No Holds Barred as Zeus. As the character Zeus, so
gotcha.
They played it right off the movie. So
okay,
I figured I thought I'd do the movies angle with you.
No, you're good. You're good. I knew you were going to be acing this whole week, so that's fine. I'm okay with that. All right, I got 2 more. Mm-hmm. Well, not 2 more, but 2. I'll do 2 more, and then you go again. Did Roddy Piper beat Hulk Hogan in the war to settle the score?
He did not.
That's correct. That is correct. See, 4-0.
Yeah.
All right. Did Hulk ever beat Ric Flair?
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. It's too easy. It is too easy.
Well,
some of them are really pathetic, though. Like some of them were like, "What was Hulk's name in Rocky 3?
Yeah.
What's Hulk's real name?"
Mm-hmm.
You know,
which is his real name. Anybody that doesn't know is Terry Bollea.
Terry Bollea.
Okay, so. All right.
So you got 1, 2, 3,
okay,
4. So you're 5-0. I got 5
okay.
more.
So I got 1 more for you. I'll do another one for you. True or false? Hulk Hogan starred in the movie Mr. Nanny.
That is true.
Hey, there you go. Boom. See? 1 for the Stallion. See, we're right there. 2-1.
That's it.
All right.
2-1. Okay, ready? So, how many times did the champ? You already got that one.
Okay.
So we got who beat last for the WWE. So who did Hulk beat last when last match he was in WWE?
The last match, I believe it was Sid Vicious.
Who beat last for WWE?
Is it who he beat? Who
Yeah.
Hogan beat last?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Was it Sting?
It said Bret Hart.
Oh, Bret Hart.
And I don't know who Bret Hart is, so.
Oh, Bret. Well, Bret the Hitman Hart was Canadian.
Oh, I knew the name. Okay,
You know, the
I remember
Hitman.
I didn't
So
know that
he
was the
was,
Hitman. Okay,
Okay. All right.
that's what it said. So, all right. So when Hulk Hogan, you know how they always say, okay, Rocky from the city of Philadelphia, Rocky
Yep.
Balboa.
Yep.
What was his build from Hulk
He
Hogan
was,
as Hulk Hogan?
Hulk Hogan from Venice Beach, California.
There you go. That was too easy for you.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he had others when he became.
I heard that. Yeah, I heard that quite a bit. So growing up, so because I always thought to myself, geez, where's this Venice Beach, and how are they producing these great big monsters? So,
right, exactly. I know.
But then I met the stallion, and I realized they make them tough in Florida. So,
all right, I got 4 more.
Okay.
One,
Jesus,
two,
you got a lot of questions this week.
Well, I was trying to hit you up. I mean, I knew you were going to get all these. I figured I could at least get one curveball in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Name the cartoon series in 1985 with Hulk Hogan.
I absolutely love this. It was Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling.
Rockin' Wrestling.
Yeah, it was.
I remember seeing those commercials. I was
old.
I was 19, so a little too old, but I remember seeing them.
It was like, listen, I grew up on an island. Okay, we had 4 channels, so to get first of all, to get wrestling on Saturday afternoon was great, but to get a wrestling cartoon, that was icing on the cake.
All right, so when did Hulk win the first title, and versus who?
Okay, so he won in 1984 versus the Iron Sheik.
There you go,
and he did it in just over 5 minutes.
It was the shortest match.
The shortest match because and honestly, the Iron Sheik, interesting enough, was an Olympic wrestler.
Oh, really?
Before he came to the WWE. And backstage, so I met the Iron Sheik here in Kingston. Oh, wow. He came here a few years ago, and he did like I don't want to say comedy show, but it was kind of funny, but he just telling wrestling stories. So he said, you know, he was an Olympic wrestler. He could have seriously beat Hulk Hogan. He said, like, I wrestled in the Olympics. His friend said, you know, don't do this. Don't you do this. And they're just going to throw you away and throw you off to the side. But the wrestling world, the script was written. So you do what you know, it's called putting over. So he put over Hulk Hogan. And they're actually good friends, Hulk Hogan and Iron Sheik today. But
I remember the Iron Sheik. I remember seeing him.
Yeah, but it was funny because the wrestling world, he played from Iran, okay, and he played the character, you know, spitting on the American flag, and they're playing down south. And a lot of these arenas, they had to actually put him in an ambulance to get him out of the arena because they thought,
really?
How are we going to get him to the airport? How are we going to get him to the hotel? There's people out there waiting for him because he just ripped the American flag in half, spit on it, and threw it. He's acting.
Yeah,
but he got people so revved up. You get down in the States, you don't do that to the red, white, and blue. Okay, the stars and stripes. So they would put him in an ambulance, run the siren, and they just go right through the crowd, and then down the road, somebody would pick him up and drive him on to the next city because they thought,
right?
Some people really took the wrestling to the show to heart. So they, the entertainment was, and I mean, that was a little bit touchy, right? They don't do that anymore. There's a lot of things. And I met Jimmy Hart here in Kingston at a wrestling show, and we had a great conversation backstage. I was helping out backstage, and we had a great conversation. He said, even from the 80s, when he was a heel manager, he can't say the things to people that he said in the 80s, right? No. Like, you just can't do it because you do that and somebody doesn't call into work the next morning, and you don't insult people. Their religion or their weight,
it's a different world now, so it's very different.
And you got to be. It's the wrestling still has the villains and they play off the audience, but it's totally different than it was in the 80s. So I apologize for my long answer, but
no, that's okay.
Yeah,
I knew you were going to take this episode and run with it, and definitely worth listening to.
Yeah, it's fun.
All right, so I got 2 more, and I know you're going to get them. You're going 10-0. I know you are. So in 2003, what name did Hulk wrestle under for WWE?
In 2003.
Yeah.
Let me think.
Or what
here.
nickname, I should say, not name. But
it was the Patriot. I think it was
sure about that?
I think it was
I might
the
have got
Patriot.
you on one.
Yeah, or was it the? Oh, geez. I thought it was the Patriot.
You're
because I thought
close. Let me put it that way.
the
You're in
the American
right
Patriot.
You're
It
getting
was
closer.
he wore a mask.
You're getting closer when you added that in.
He wore a mask, and the masked American.
Yep, you're close.
Okay, I'm
Mr. America.
I'm Mr. America. Okay, because I know he wore a mask, and everybody.
I had no idea.
Yeah,
so
it was.
like, let me just throw that out.
Everybody said it's Hulk Hogan, and he said, "No, I'm not Hulk Hogan." So, anyways,
yep, Mr. America.
I was close. That was.
Yeah. All right, last one. True or false?
Yeah.
Was Hulk Hogan the very first wrestler ever to appear on the cover of Sports Illustrated?
That is absolutely true.
Yep.
And not only is it true, he's the only wrestler to appear on Sports Illustrated. Yep.
So nobody's been on it since?
Nobody's been on it since.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
No, he's the only one.
There you go. See, throw the book out. Tim's aced it this week.
There we are. So, no, this was, you know what? I love talking Hulk Hogan. I love talking wrestling. Obviously, look behind me, right? So, this is a lot of stuff from I went up in the rafters of the garage today, and I have a box. It says Tim stuff, do not throw out. And that's mostly for me too. I can't remember what's in what box, but no, it was just fun. And you know what, like I said, I want to end this though. We didn't touch on it from Rocky III. Hulk Hogan was inducted to the WWE Hall of Fame in 2005. And we've talked about this, Tony, and he was inducted by Sylvester Stallone, because everybody has somebody they ask who you want to induct, and he says, hands down, I want Sly to do it. So
that's pretty cool.
Sly came.
In reality, he's the reason why he became,
Hulkamania. That's right. So Sly graciously came, and in 2005 inducted Hulk Hogan. He made a really nice speech. You can go look it up on YouTube. He gave a nice speech, and Sly said, Hogan brought it. He says, I felt everything that he did in Rocky III. As much as Hogan said Sly was the real deal, Sly said, those bumps, when he's picking me up and throwing me down, he goes, I felt them. He goes, just like wrestling, it's scripted, right? I know what he's going to do, but
I still got to fall.
Right, the canvas has springs underneath it and has foam underneath it. But again, if I pick you up and throw you on a mattress, you know what? Your body's not used to it, right? So, and Sly was famous for making everything look as real as possible. That's why he didn't want an actor playing a wrestler. He wanted a wrestler playing a wrestler there.
Yep.
Right. So, like
Sly was definitely
later on in Balboa, where he had Tarver, right? So he tried to get the boxers and the athletes. And I mean, Mr. T, Apollo Creed, Ivan Drago, these are all athletes, right? So that was the one thing about the wrestling. Now you see, Ronda Rousey and Brock Lesnar and guys that come in from the UFC, a lot of ex-football players, right? So they get injured and they still want to be in this spotlight, and they still want to be making the money and living the life, right? So a lot of pro athletes turn to wrestling because they can make the money, and they can still travel and entertain, and they're in shape, and people love to see them. I mean, the guy, I think there's a guy called The Rock. I mean, he's pretty big, right?
A little bit. He's kind of well known.
He got his start. He's actually a third generation wrestler, right? His grandfather, Rocky Maivia, right? Or Peter Maivia, excuse me. And then Rocky Johnson, his father, wrestled, right? Both passed on now. But when he came in, it's funny, you can look this up too. His name was Rocky Maivia, and he hated it. He said, I hate it. But it was a tribute to his grandfather and his father, right? Right. And then again, the late Pat Patterson changed his name. He says, well, we just call you The Rock. And he says, I love it. So they,
There you go.
he had the people's eyebrow but
Yeah.
he is one of the biggest movie stars on the planet, right? But he got his start in wrestling, and he still makes his appearances at WrestleMania, and he doesn't wrestle anymore, but he still shows up and gets involved, and a lot of them come back. So,
but again, all of them, every one of them can thank Hulk Hogan, who can thank Sly for putting him in Rocky III.
Yeah.
All stemmed from Sly putting him in Rocky III. Hulk took it from there.
Yeah.
And Hulk's had the ball in his hands and has been running with it since.
That's right.
So, Hulk, we appreciate what you've done. And hopefully you've ever watched this. You never know. Sly might pass you on.
Yeah.
But, hopefully we can get you on one day too. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. Thank you for 38 plus years of being a face of wrestling. I mean, there's not a person alive that doesn't know the name Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. That's right.
So,
with the rip on the shirt and got the American flag usually with him, and he's saying his prayers and eating his vitamins and hanging and banging and crashing, smashing the weights, right? So he's an American icon, right? So he's another symbol.
Legend.
Right?
He's a legend.
So,
he actually absolutely is. So it's very cool. It was a good episode. Good stuff.
This was a lot of fun, Tony. I love talking some wrestling and
thanks for my soft 3 trivia questions. I appreciate that.
Hey, you did pretty good. So
there's no way I would have answered every trivia, wrestle trivia.
I'll tell you one I was gonna ask you. I was gonna let me see here.
See how bad I am.
I'll say what was one of Hulk Hogan's wrestling names before Hulk Hogan?
Ooh. I don't know. I didn't know he was anything before Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, he was known as Super Destroyer. He was also known as the Sterling Golden.
Okay.
He actually dropped out of Florida State University, become a wrestler.
I remember reading somewhere that he studied business at Tampa.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you got to be anything with that kind of lifestyle. You're going to have to be in charge of your finances, right? Because a lot of wrestlers, unfortunately, they still wrestle today. They did, and they weren't able to save their money, and
no. Well, speaking of somebody like that, I mean, we're not going to touch base on this now because we're wrapping it up. But check out the movie The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke.
That's right.
If you haven't seen that, that's definitely a movie to wake you up on what wrestlers go through in their life,
for sure.
Especially towards the end of their life. Guys like Hulk Hogan are rare and few and far between that are still training in the gym 5 days a week. Yeah, still getting out there and pushing it. Some of the guys are in pretty bad shape, and it's a lifestyle that's not for the weak. That's for sure.
But this was a lot of fun, Tony.
It was.
Like I said, anybody listening, we're on the Action Heroes Podcast Network. You can find us on with the other podcasts. Ryan has had us on with The Long Road, which is coming up. I think it's September 13th.
But there's the 12th or the 13th.
Yeah, the 12th.
We'll get the date for you, though. We'll post it up there.
Next episode, and we'll post it. We're definitely going to post it for sure. We break down First Blood. We get to end the movie, the first season. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. It's pretty cool. And we're also on YouTube, obviously, where you can watch us visually if you like. If you're not
the last real quick thing, we didn't do any Rocky trivia this week, but I just want to mention the Rocky trivia book here. Rocco just celebrated a birthday, and this post was on YouTube, and he just found out he's going to Philly to see the statue, to see the steps. So we just want to give a quick shout out to Rocco. Hope you had a wicked birthday. Hope you enjoy Philly. Maybe you'll write another book.
That's it. My trip to Philly.
Yeah. All right,
Aspiring author. Good stuff, man. Always a pleasure, my brother.
Okay. Thanks very much, guys. We'll see you down the road.
Yep. Take care.
See ya.